welcome to the Holy Rollers, episode 20. I didn't forget this week, so go me.
Yay!
We'll go ahead and start off like we usually do. We'll roll for prayer. Yeah. So I don't know who's left, but go for it.
Roll a 19.
I
Oh.
think that it would be.
I rolled a 5. And if this is the way it's going to be,
Oh, I rolled a 19.
I rolled an 18.
it looks like between Raja and Mara.
Yeah,
Do we
sounds
wanna
like they're
re-roll,
rolling
or-
off.
Roll off.
To
Okay.
roll off.
Liking
A
the
4.
digital dice tonight.
What'd you roll, Kyle?
A 6.
Woo! It's
That's actually pretty
Kyle.
funny.
Whee!
All right, that's Kyle. All right, Kyle.
All right.
Take it away.
Precious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this time that we get to spend together, coming together to play this awesome game. And as a side note, to try to spread your word across this platform that is the internet. And just pray that everyone watching enjoys the quality entertainment we can give them, and ask that you watch over each and every one of us. Just guide us all to your will, because as you obviously know, we are here to serve you. I ask this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty. So, we left off with the group has made their way out of the fire temple and back into the village after a serene night in the village. Mara woke up, so Mara's back. Yay!
Yay.
We're extremely happy about that.
Yes.
Now that so we kind of went through that, and from there we ended up being attacked by a group of why am I drawing a blank on this?
Wormlings?
Wormlings, thank you. I almost said wyverns, but I knew that wasn't right, and I didn't want to get it wrong, so I just stopped there. So yeah. So the wormlings came in, the group quickly dispatched them, and then shortly after that, Tristna came to the group and basically said, hey, it's time for you all to leave. We need you gone. So as the group kind of makes their way back to Devlin's ship, that is exactly where we are going to pick up
Before we go
episode.
there, Terrence looks at Tristan and says, what about the things that we asked you to make for us?
You've already got them.
Okay.
Got him.
Gotta make sure. I did watch the last session, but I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
And then we make sure to say goodbye to Erlin as well.
Yeah.
Just thank him for all his help, dragons and stuff.
For sure. He got more than he bargained for when he signed up with us.
Right?
Yeah.
He was absolutely thrilled.
And
It
And
itched
we-
that scratch. He wanted to itch.
Yeah. And we watched Omar head out as well, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Omar
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, Omaris. Yeah.
He turned
Yep.
into a pigeon.
Homer's turned into a pigeon and flew off. So
That's right.
yeah, so that is where we're at. All right. As we begin this evening's episode, the group has made their way from the village back out to the shallows where the ship stays, and Devlin, why don't you run the group through getting the ship ready to sail?
Right. So I imagine Devlin would, after we bring both boats in, secure them, he would ask Raja and Terrence to help him bring the mooring in, anchor. He would ask Albus if he could help with the rigging to bring the sails down, as you're more light and nimble. and he would intentionally not give Mara a job thus far. Because in his mind, she's still just woken up. He's a gentleman. He's going to let her get acclimatized and stretch her muscles. She's been in one position for 3 days, so
I guess that's fair and that's very kind of you.
Do we need a roll to see how well we do our tasks?
Yeah.
I was gonna
that's
say
what I was
when Devlin talks to Albus, Albus is gonna look down at himself. He's got he's a portly gnome. He's definitely lost weight, especially since Better Duck has died. Noticeably lost weight, but he's still like pretty portly, and he just gives you this look like, okay.
if you would prefer, I can have Muriel help you with that there, Albus.
Sure, yeah. Or at least have somebody ready to catch me when I fall.
No. Mara, if you would care for something to do, over by the wheel, if you just want to do a wee lookout just to see if there's anything on the horizon, any direction for the moment while we get underway.
While Mara
Look
brushes past
Oh.
me, I'm gonna give her a guidance because, no offense, I don't feel like perception checks are your strong suit.
Devlin would tell Mara the name of the ship because Mara is not aware of what the ship's name is, actually. Everyone else knows what the name of the ship is but Mara because she was catatonic. So
Mhm.
he would tell her, oh, and by the way, this is the Duck Eternal.
The Duck Eternal. Okay.
Aye, it's the name of the ship. Duck Eternal. He'll go back
Duck
to
Eternal.
hmm
No, I got it. I was still thinking of Big Duck Energy. Sorry.
Sorry.
We're looking for a different reaction. Duck Eternal.
Should I roll for perception, Brandon?
And should we roll for our tasks?
So yes, all right, go ahead and tell me what you're doing and make, let's just do some survival checks, and then Mara will be, rolling perception and
15.
adding one, so roll a d4 and add that to it.
No, I did.
Oh, that was with it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Alright, fair enough.
Not bad.
All right. So what was it you asked Terrence to do?
Terrence and Raj to help bring the mooring in and the anchor.
Okay. So Terrence is helping bringing the mooring in and anchor. So that's
Yep.
a survival check,
And I got a 12.
and I got a 15.
I
Alright,
rolled a
so
3 for a total of 6.
I'm gonna give you
So,
I'm gonna
who's
give you the
catching him?
assist. I'm giving you
Oh.
the assist. Roll with advantage. I'm giving you the help action.
Gotta love those help actions.
How are
Better.
you help?
19 for the second
Thank
one.
goodness.
How are you helping? Is she a
Um,
Boost
cheerleader?
him.
Yeah, I'm basically just I'm spoons, not forks, and I got my hands out.
I'm definitely like doing this on the rigging and just yeah.
I just grab you by the collar with mage hand and just haul you upright.
I'm sitting here thinking to
have to.
myself
You're
that
using mage hand to like balance me out. Like whoa, good thing. Oh, thanks.
I'm really thinking that Terrence and Raja are laughing while they're working.
Yeah, that's why we might be slightly struggling with the mooring
Yeah.
because we're just chuckling at this.
We're
Devlin's
laughing.
just at the wheel. Give the survival check to start to bring the ship out. Hey, soft 20, because I have advantage on water vehicles.
Nice.
Awesome.
I imagine it's probably a good thing that you do. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, everyone, yeah, Raja and Terrence, you kind of struggle a little bit, but you're able to get your task complete. Albus, you managed to get the rigging done without Muriel having to catch you, and Mara, as you kind of stare out on the horizon, everything looks up to snuff. Everything looks clear.
Everything looks A-okay, Captain.
Good to know. In his head, okay, Gander, you got us to this part. We have a map. Where be our course?
So, as you ask Gander for help, let me move you guys to the world map. Alright, so, this
I'm
is...
guessing we're the little red dot.
You are the little red dot, which is actually a bunch of little red squares, because it would only draw squares, which is really freaking annoying, so I just dropped a bunch of them in that one area so that you could see.
Great.
Fair.
Thanks.
So, that's the island that you are currently on. Devlin, for the first time when you reach out to Gander, you don't get a response this time.
He'll blink, but he won't be worried. He'll then just take out the map of the map that was in the Dragon's Hoard. Was that a map of just this island or the surrounding couple islands?
Yeah, so it looks roughly about what this map does that you're currently looking at. A little less detailed than maybe some of the newer maps of the world. But you still get a pretty good gist just based on your knowledge. Hey, this is the active volcano island that we're on. Yeah, so at that point, at least you know where you're at.
Devin will actually speak up. Right, so my patron's a bit mum at the moment regarding the next step. Also, at least we didn't get kicked off of the island previous. We just made a quick getaway.
And if anything, I'm grateful that I'm grateful that we are becoming faster at our egresses. This mission is dangerous, and the things that we carry are dangerous. We don't need to be inviting whatever ills chase us upon civilians.
Fair enough. So, if I could have everyone just gather over towards me, he'll sprout the map. So, because at present we do not have a heading, we just have a rough set of guidelines of find the other dragon eggs, but no clear direction. As the captain of the vessel, I am open to suggestions and ideas about what our next course of action should be.
Okay.
Well, I do believe at some point we were intending on hitting the mainland, right?
Yeah, we were. Matter of fact, that's where we were headed. We wanted to go to the mainland.
We need to go to Fasari.
Just out of curiosity, DM, since Terrence being a paladin, can he beseech Jehovah for an answer?
You can certainly try.
I hate when you say that.
Why don't you roll a religion check?
All right. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Oh, 1 with +2. So natural 1. I stumble over. I don't even know his name. That sucks.
Okay.
Yeah. So as as you take a moment to calm yourself and just kind of reach out, you not only get nothing back, but as like a wave rocks against the boat really hard, it kind of jars you out of your almost trance-like state. You don't take any damage because
I was just gonna
that
say,
would have
do I
had
need
to
to
have been
roll
like
damage?
a really, really big. Yeah.
At least he didn't say roll initiative.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I'm mean. I'm not that mean.
Yeah.
So
Well,
do we
my
want to
thought-
just like try Fasari and see what happens since we don't have any
My-
other leads?
My thought is to go back to, I believe the island was Stormbreak, the hub, all the ships that come in, and just do some investigating. See if anybody's got if there's any rumors of anything popping up in certain places. That way, if there's something out in one of these other islands, we don't go all the way to the mainland and then have to come back. This would allow us to gather some information and maybe get some leads before we commit to a course of action.
So we
That's
sail
it.
through the islands and hit the mainland on the way.
No, we go back to the last island we were at, which is a hub for ferries coming in and whatnot. It's kind of a trade hub. So, at least as far as I remember, and just hear the scuttlebutt that's going around, see if anybody's got stories of weird things going on, or dragon-like things, or weird sightings, stuff like that.
Out of character, how long have we been away from that island?
3 days, 4
By
days now.
this point, yeah, you're probably pushing fairly close to maybe 5 to 6 if you take into account the maybe day and a half that you sailed.
I'm thinking if there was any scuttlebutt worthy, we probably would have heard about it when we were there, but that's just my opinion. Of course, it's going to be a group vote.
I've had about enough of little islands with their little thoughts.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I want to be on the mainland.
Plus, we had some serious tragedy at that last island. I'm not keen on going back.
Me either.
Can I roll some kind of a check to determine, given how much I've studied, and Terrence, I would probably implore your help about this. Specific dragons tend to linger in specific geographical areas. For instance, black dragons prefer swamps. Could I determine where the largest and nearest of, say, a swamp might be that we could look for a black dragon? Or could I determine where a gold dragon might traditionally find its territory?
Let's see. Yeah.
And
Let
how
me
would I
f-
give help?
let me
You're the
figure.
dragon guy.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how.
You
Do I
guys would
roll that?
discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Discuss it.
I mean, we would be comparing notes on what we
Right.
know of dragons.
Make a. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a history check?
That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
What's
Yeah,
your
so
history?
go ahead and
Plus
make a
2.
history check. I would say if Terrence is assisting with advantage.
Okay.
So I shouldn't make one.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, keep it.
Wow.
You know everything. No, I'm just.
Right?
Yeah, right. I received the download Yehovah meant for you. It's like, oh.
All right.
It
So,
bounced off that shield.
so as Muriel kind of makes her way towards the center of the ship and kind of sits down, she goes into this trance-like state that some of you have seen before, especially when she was kind of delving into Mara's mind, and her eyes kind of turn black as her head starts to kind of roll backwards a little bit, and Muriel, you catch a glimpse, almost as if you are in the body of something flying. You're not super sure what it is. It doesn't seem like you're very large. Probably, maybe a bird at best. And as you fly over, you kind of recognize some of the things that you are seeing. To the north, you see a large capital surrounded by water. To the south, you see a few scattered villages that remain fairly close to some larger wooded areas. And to your west, you see a gigantic crater. And as you're peering through these eyes, you look over and you notice a what could only be described as almost a beacon of light shining down, hitting a point that's fairly wooded from what you can see, but it kind of falls pretty well centered on those items that you saw, or those locations.
I'm iterating this as I see it. And
Can you repeat those so I can just one more time?
yes, DM, please do, because I need to kind of
I was hoping you'd remember, so I didn't have to. All right. So to the
Also staving her throat a
yeah,
little.
yeah. So to the north, you see a capital with surrounded by water. To the south, you find a few villages, and if you look even further to the south, you recognize the still smoldering village that you may or may not have left. To the west, you find a large crater.
Okay. So a northern capital surrounded by water. To the south, some villages. And to the west, a large crater.
Out of character again. We're traveling due east, right? Like generally.
Well, from where you're at right now, you have traveled east in the north. Now you're kind of central upon the world map itself.
But we came from the western continent, correct?
Correct.
Or are we
Yeah.
Okay,
you left here. You sailed to here
again?
first.
Okay.
So you left here, sailed here first, ended up here, and for theatricals, give me a moment.
Hmm.
Oh, it's not very big. That's disappointing. Go burst, maybe? Roughly about there is where, in the bird's eye mind that Muriel's seeing, roughly somewhere in this area is where that vision has landed as a swamp area, because that's
Can you ping it one more time, DM? I was zoomed in.
It's a big.
That was pretty good, yeah. So
Oh,
that's where we're trying. Basically, that's where we're trying to head to.
Well, that's a swamp if we wanted to go for a particular kind of dragon first.
Well, I'm not sure that we want to.
Isn't that where we just came from?
yeah.
But we're trying to go to the other side because that's where the gold dragons were. So.
Well, if I might be so blunt, my patron's not saying anything. Your god's not saying anything. He's the only one that's got any kind of specific location, kind of. So, and he brings up the medallion, which he now has on his person permanently. There are 4. We've taken care of 1. There's still black, blue, and green left to take care of on whatever this coalition is.
I don't think we're big enough to take care of the black. Not after seeing it.
If the black is Delta, then
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
it might not be.
it could be bigger.
If it's bigger, it's coming through that portal.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
So if Muriel's the only one who's got like some semblance of an idea, why don't we just take that one?
Yeah.
My issue is that would mean that we made this trip for nothing. whole.
Did we though? No, because we got a
No,
red,
I was gonna say we got a red egg.
and
And a gold.
we got the gold egg that
And we made significant friends.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still wanting to find golden dragons
yeah.
for at least for information, correct? And our
Right.
best lead is on this continent
Mhm.
that we've been sailing to.
Let's
If we
consider
turn,
that. Go ahead.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, if we turn around now and go back, then, I mean, we made the trip halfway. We might as well finish it out.
As intrigued as I am by the sure fight, I think that the northern capital and its stores of information might posit a more lucrative journey and perhaps would make this seem not so much for naught.
I can get behind that.
I
As
can
much
get
as I
behind
hate
that.
backtracking,
Yeah.
that might be a good
Yes.
idea.
I mean, we've
Okay.
made it almost the entire way across the ocean. Why don't we just complete the journey?
Yes, I
think
agree.
that-
I'm with that.
It was a 2 month. It was about 2 months travel this far. Like I'd hate to get here and turn around.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
another 2 months back. That would just.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
that's kind of
So,
where what Roger.
Northern
Is that our
capital it
homeland?
is.
Yeah.
I have every notion that if we ask the right questions or make the right friends, our next journey won't be 2 months.
We just have to make sure we're making friends.
There
We
will
always
be
make friends with our charms and skills.
Our charisma and our strength.
What,
The two go together.
what
Well,
friends do we not have?
that's true because anyone who wasn't a friend pretty much dead.
Exactly.
That's actually pretty fair.
Become our friend or die.
Thinks of Better Duck.
The holy roller's way.
Yeah. Had to say that.
Oh, gosh. Awful.
Pyromaniac's way.
I
Yeah.
know. I vote capital.
I vote capital.
Capital.
All right, so just so I have an idea of which capital you're actually talking about, someone ping on the map where you're going because there's two capitals.
Someone do it for me.
That's not the capital.
That's not a capital.
This is a capital.
The capital
That's-
surrounded by water.
No, because that's the one you saw. This is the one that you guys said you were going to.
Yeah, that's one I think we're going to.
Okay.
Oh, this one. Okay.
All right, so let's see from here to there.
And to be clear as to what we are hoping to accomplish in this.
Let me do
capital.
some things. Doop, doop, doop.
While you do that, we're going to talk through our goals
Yep.
for this journey. So we are going to be seeking information on where to find gold dragons and silver dragons, or any dragon for that matter.
Any
who could
good
lend us a
dragon.
claw. Any
Yeah.
dragon who could lend us a claw in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to be looking for information on Donovan and Vathnagoth specifically.
Yeah.
And I'm sure each of us has some reasons to plumb the depths of a local library.
Yes. And part of that is to spread the word of Jehovah.
All right.
Additionally, we may also seek allyship with strong mages, warriors, people who might be able to help us.
Sure.
Also,
That would
before
be
we set
cool.
sail, Terrence,
Yes.
there's a patch job underground that has your name on it.
Yes. So Terrence would go under there and try to patch.
All right, so
Should
as you go ahead and start making sail, Terrence, you're gonna head down and try to work on the ship.
Yeah.
So while you're doing
Hopefully we
that,
don't sink it.
you're gonna roll
Are-
do a survival check.
Oh, good. +6. 17.
Okay, so no problems there. You're able to hatch the ship. As the group sails from the island that you're on now to the capital, you're probably looking at probably about a solid, probably about a month and a half.
Good lord.
Oh boy.
What is our food storage supplies looking like?
You would have gotten enough food from the island that shouldn't be a problem. So as the group is sailing, here's what I would like to do.
You can always fish.
I will allow everyone, and I'm giving you no time to think about this because I enjoy this way too much. I want you to tell me one thing that you trained on for that month and a half.
One thing that we trained
Yes,
on.
one thing that you trained on. And we will start with Devlin.
I was going to say, let's just roll for initiative and see who goes
Actually,
first.
you know what? Let's do that. Yeah, roll for initiative. And if I beat you, I get to pick the order.
I
That's
got a
fair.
9.
Someone,
Hold on.
I would imagine you guys
19?
are above
Oh.
a 10. So
And
I'm at a 9, so.
21 is mine.
you're lucky that the 21 was the first one because I wasn't going to give you advantage on it.
Oh, I see.
It's also be an opportunity for us to mention any interpersonal developments that we take on, conversations we might have.
Yep, agreed. All right, so Raja, this month and a half, what did you train on?
Raja, first and foremost, is going to train on mastering his greatsword, being a fighter who's mainly done a long sword and shield more often than not. A two-handed weapon is a little newer to him, but he thinks he can master it in that rough amount of time. And in doing so, he's also going to challenge Mara and Terrence to a little bit of sparring. Non-lethal, of course.
Yeah, which we
Albus and
always
I will be
take up.
referee.
Right? Yep, exactly.
With the promise that Terrence will not be driven into the hull of the ship anymore.
No
Thank you
promises.
kindly.
Right?
He's a little rougher with Mara than he is with Terrence.
Alrighty. Devlin, I believe you had a 19.
That is correct.
Alright.
So, strangely enough, Devlin would spend the time working on his people skills. This sounds weird, but he recognizes now that he's probably going to be away from the ship for much longer. And so he's going to take the time while we're on the ocean to try and make an effort to get more comfortable with the group. And if there was an actual training thing, he would try and, however he can, deepen his bond with Jormungandr, considering once he goes on land, this might be more landlocked. And Jormungandr only just started talking to him a month ago after 18 years of silence. So Devlin is going to try and, as much as he can, understand where Gandr's coming from, what Gandr wants of him, and just to try and deepen that pact relationship.
Alright, perfect. Let's see. After my 19. There we go. Let's see. So 19th there. Terrence.
Okay, so Terrence, other than sparring with Mara and Raja, and will probably begin to try to practice his new skills at magic that he's finding himself having. Trying to figure out how to get more accurate on the Eldritch Blast and the Witch Bolt and just a few things like that. He's also going to try to figure out how that works because he's not used to having offensive spells. He's going to figure out how to use those in conjunction with swordplay, and we'll probably begin to talk more with Muriel, because he knows that she has, and Devlin, because she knows that they both have a patron, and he's finding himself under something similar. So he's trying to understand what this all entails. But he will probably try, whether it's successful or not, to
Okay, so we're back. Sorry about that, everybody. We're back. Yay! So this is still episode 20, but apparently part 2 of episode 20. That was super annoying.
episode 20 part deuce.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, perfect. I'll have to figure yours out. All right. Next in the order, I believe, was, I think it was Albus, and then Muriel, and then Mara.
I was 2.
Oh, you were too. So it was.
I was gonna say I had a 17.
Oh, so okay.
Oh, you were
so
supposed to be before
yeah.
me.
So Mara, go on and give me yours, and then Albus, and then Muriel.
Okay. So Mara's basically gonna like spar with Raja and probably Terrence, try and get her strength back, get Lucied up, I guess. And there's also conversations that she needs to have with a few people.
All right. Albus.
All right. So I was going to try a couple of things. So, I trained on a couple of things. So first off, he's going to get more familiar with the healing magic that he's come across and just play with it a bit, to know it in and out and get really well with it. He also is going to actually try and become pretty good with. He's just going to try and be a little bit stronger, a little bit more nimbler, actually being able to do the rigging without falling off and stuff. So trying to climb ropes and get up there and balance and stuff. Just trying to be more dexterous, basically. Lots of conversations, lots of fishing, getting that dang flute to work.
Righty. Muriel.
One thing I would be working on doing to develop during this time would actually be something along the lines of telepathic conference calling. I want at some point, and I know that's a big ask and it's not in the character sheet, whatever, but to be able to link us all mentally so that if we had to split, or if for some reason we were forcibly split, I could contact all of us at once and derive our location within a certain geographic location radius. And the amount of concentration that take is something along the lines of the same concentration it took to hold 2 concentration spells when I was in Mara's brain. And that had repercussions. And I understand if practicing of this would also have repercussions, but I see the eventual payoff in a clutch moment as being worth the damage, worth the blood tears and the nosebleeds, if that's even possible.
Gonna have you do because yours is really, I love the way that you went with it. So I'm going to do a Arcana check with advantage.
I rolled a natural 20 again.
Congratulations! Apparently, you all have Microsoft Teams in your head now. So, yeah. So Muriel tests this out, and all of a sudden, you guys get a do 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 in your brain.
Wow. Terrence looking around.
What is this?
Must she always do this?
Right? Oh,
I
it's
had
so
one
great.
voice in me. Now I got two.
So does this mean we can all talk to each other through our heads like crazy people?
Well, we may think we can, but she really can.
Yeah.
So I would say for
Well,
I would say for the sake of just me not trying to keep up with this, I would say that Muriel is able to once a day connect all of you mentally.
You have a collect call.
Right?
Muriel, do you
So
accept the charges?
it's not a permanent connection.
Mhm.
The connection lasts 30 seconds.
Mm.
You must
All right.
you must be not incapacitated or asleep. And I'm limiting your words to 30 words.
Wow.
I mean, this is a self-taught ability, not a magic item, so it
Yeah.
seems fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is more than any character sheet would have given me. So thank you, DM. Is it limited in geographic terms to say a mile? Because my current ability is 4.
I would say that within. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this fun. Within 15 miles.
Wow.
Hey.
The most you could have gotten was 20.
Wow. Okay. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. I am basically Verizon.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Can you hear me now?
I am T-Mobile, baby.
Actually, wouldn't you be AT&T?
T is for Tiefling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tiefling Mobile.
That's right.
I
All
love
right. My horns grow like antennae.
it. Yep.
Oh my.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, it matches my
All right.
helmet now.
Right? No, I see that being useful, especially as we get more space and travel and time under our belts. Maybe there will be a day where we have to split after 2 equally worthy causes, and I don't want to lose sight of you guys. So
Ooh. Does not reach across planes.
Does not reach across planes.
yes, but
That
15
would make
miles.
sense. 15 miles is pretty good because it's hard to get separated more than 15 miles in a
Well,
short
for
amount of time.
30, for context, for 30 seconds, I can hold a connection between 6 people 15 miles away.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Right?
So, thank you.
Well, hey, for 2 hours every Thursday, I can connect 7 people on camera and produce it.
Well
So,
over, probably close to 1,000 miles
that's
away.
right.
Yes.
And Brandon for the win.
Okay, so
And
he is
yeah.
a magic user.
Yeah.
We
All
all knew
right.
Brandon was a wizard when we met.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the beard. That's where I
It's the
derive
beard.
all of my power from. Beard and the hat. So,
I would want to ask Terrence for a book, maybe a holy book of Jehovah. And I'm going to try to do it casually because I know he's just like raring to go on the mission field. And I'm just going to be like,
Do you?
you need to play it cool, Terrence. But I really want to read a holy book from Jehovah. And I don't want to talk about it yet. But I just want to have the book and draw some conclusions of my own. Is that something you can do for me, Terrence?
So
As he starts vibrating in place.
So did she do a persuasion? No.
Pulls out several versions from the
I was
bag of
just
holding.
which version would you like? What you know?
I got the
I would
study version, the
probably
beginner's version.
yeah, I would probably tell you I have one book, and I'm willing to allow you to have sections of it at a time.
The new Tamrielic version.
No, you're
That
gonna
would-
start with the old Tamrielic now.
But I don't understand their language. That's fine. I understand. Very well. I will take what I can be given. I am stuck on a boat after all.
Well, over a month and a half, you'd probably be able to read the whole thing.
I'd hope so.
I don't know. Depends on how I digest it.
This is true.
Hmm.
Reading it and digesting it would be two different things.
That is
Make it
This
very,
is just
very
this
fair.
is not a cerebral exercise for Mariel, which is very unlike most of her studying has been her entire life. This is about reconciling what that book says with her worldview and which one of those wins in the end.
Speaking of
The
which
book
one,
says
speaking
what she
of which
thinks.
one wins, make a religion check. Let's see where you're at.
Let's roll another third. Let's roll a third nat 20, baby.
That would be nice.
That would be a natural one.
Oh my gosh.
Two,
I'm an atheist.
two 20s and a 1. You're lucky she didn't throw this book overboard at this point.
Ooh,
Uh,
she's offended.
So probably within, I would say it probably took you about a week to get through the book that Terrence gave you, and in reading it, nothing at this point resonated with you. There
I've
was
still not quite got it.
yeah,
in
there
my
was
head what I'm
there was
looking for.
maybe, I don't want to use the word animosity, but there was a lot of struggle with kind of your memories of what you dealt with in the psyche of Mara the last time, and to what you're reading now, and trying to put that 2 and 2 together. You just keep coming up with 5. And yeah, it doesn't, I would say it probably takes you about a week. You don't get very far with it, so you give the book back to Terrence. Alright, so everyone will need to jot this down. Terrence.
I'm finding something to jot this down with.
Well, and you can make the change on your character sheet, and then it's done.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, to be fair, here's how it's going to work, guys. Albus, just make sure you write it down, because we all know that everyone's going to ask you about it anyway. So, all right. So as you guys spend and we'll back up a little bit, because I know there's other conversations to be had. But I figured since I've got everything written down now, that I wanted to do it now. So, Terrence, kind of with your month that you spent training, sparring, and all that, you have picked up a permanent +1 to strength.
Wow. Okay. Is there a way to?
I think so. I think you can.
I would have to manage my character.
I think you can override the score to. So you can override your score to 18, and that should.
Okay.
That should do it. Raja.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
While you are using your two-handed sword, you now have a permanent +1 to attack.
Whoa.
Oh,
There is no way for me to assign that to it, so you'll just have to remember it.
make a note. Got it.
Devlin, you have managed to become a little bit better with people. You have gained a permanent +1 to charisma.
Hey.
You now have advantage on persuasion checks.
I'll take it.
Mara,
Mhm.
you seem to have gotten kind of your loosey-goosey back on, and your time spent, you managed to knock out a permanent +1 in strength.
Wow.
Nice.
How Mara got her groove back.
Right?
Yeah.
Albus?
So how do I do that?
I'm trying to figure that one out too. So.
You click the stat
click the number, not the actual button, not like the
Yeah,
plus
and then-
whatever. Just click the number, and then it should pop up a window. So Albus, with yours, you gain a permanent +1 to dexterity. I have no clue if that actually does anything for you, but congrats.
Nice.
And
Actually,
then
I have an 11 on dexterity, so I was hoping for that so I could get a 1 on dexterity.
right,
plus
yeah,
1.
there you go. And then Mara, you're not Mara, Muriel. Sorry,
Okay.
it's the first time I've done that in a long time. You managed to. Obviously your big thing was gaining the new ability to become tiefling mobile.
Think mobile.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm halfway tempted to like homebrew a spell called tiefling mobile.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna stop you, Brandon.
Oh, here we go. Got it.
Yeah. All right.
Bars
So,
more.
Devlin, at this point, it's gonna sound really weird, but I'm gonna have you do successive survival checks, and this is basically your ability to keep everyone alive on the ship for this journey that's going to take this
Bit.
month and a half. So go ahead and make your first one.
19.
19. All right. So yeah, a 19. You definitely. So far, so good. So yeah, so far so
None of us have
good.
died yet.
You've managed to kind of clear the central islands there of the map, so you're kind of out in open water. So go ahead and make another survival with advantage now that you're kind of full bore out in the open sea.
Can we say that we stopped and got the jewelry that Muriel commissioned with Better Duck's ashes in it?
Please.
Actually, to save time so that we don't have to go back to the island and I don't have to recreate a map, yes, absolutely. You got your you got your necklaces.
Just a footnote, funny little footnote on that. I would ask if if Hermaeus left the island or not.
Yes,
Wouldn't go looking for
he
him.
did.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
I'd say with your telepathic ability, you would be able to, him. You could do, all right, is he within 15 miles of me? Because if he is, then there's a problem. If he isn't, well, then he left the island.
Yeah.
I'll find you. If you're within 15 miles, I will find you.
Right?
Yeah, if he's within 15 miles, he may be in the middle of the ocean.
Yes. Oh, we can only dream, Terrence.
The second one is a 14.
Okay. Yeah, we're still on course. By this point, you have kind of made it to this southern, kind of the southernmost peninsula, kind of turning into, yeah, kind of
Bay.
turning in, yeah, kind of making your way into this, into the large bay there.
I would say by the time the land would come in sight, Devlin would have Albus, since he's gotten more proficient going up and down, to take down the pirate flag as we're entering waters with people,
Good idea.
and he'll take that back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. All right.
Third one,
Yeah, make just one more, and I think we're good.
another 14.
All right, perfect. So yeah, so no problem there. So by this point, you're probably within. I'd say you're probably within about 10 to 15 nautical miles of the capital city of Fasari. So you're just on kind of the out. You're starting to on the horizon, kind of seeing the outlying outcrest of the large skyline that is this capital. So we'll pause there. So at this point we're kind of going to back up a little bit because I know Mara and Terrence, I know that there's conversations that you wanted to have while on the ship.
At some point, I think Mara and Muriel needed to talk too.
Yeah,
if I remember.
agreed.
I had a couple things too.
Okay. Anybody else?
Devlin might have a tail end of all this. It might just happen on the chat group with Albus.
Okay. All right, got it. All right, so we'll back up to maybe about 3 weeks into the journey. The group you've just made it back to Stormbreak. You've got your necklaces. You're kind of on your way back off of the island, and it's dusk. Sun is almost set. You might have 15-20 minutes left of not even really full sunlight, just where it's still light as the sun goes down over the horizon. Mara, you're up on the upper deck of the ship, as is Terrence.
Okay.
First off, have we figured out that we're related?
So, none of us know what you're talking about, and I'm going to need both of you to start off with insight checks.
Oh
Okay.
boy. Oh, I've got a plus.
Oh
6 on
crap!
insight.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Oh, 12?
So,
We're only going to find out when one of them dies, aren't we?
pretty much, at this point, maybe. You still can't
Am I going to have to
quite...
go visit a temple of Jehovah?
You
be
can't
like,
quite
"Listen."
put your finger on it. You know that there's... You both know that there's something there, but whenever it gets brought up, you kind of quickly laugh it off, like, no way. While every other person on the ship looks at you two like you're the biggest group of dummies ever. It's like, how do you not see this?
She's more distracted by other things.
Yeah, fair enough.
He kind of is too. So.
Yeah. All right. So at that point,
Literally, every time that happens, like in the next month and a half, I just reach over and I just grip either Albus's shoulder or like Devlin's forearm, and I'm just waiting for that magic moment where the light goes off in one of these two dunderheads' minds. And it never comes.
Well, we never will,
Why are you
Muriel.
working so hard? Because Albus actually doesn't know, because when this all happened, he was in his brewing maniac, so he didn't pick up on anything. So.
Oh, that's funny. Actually, I tell you what, Albus, I'm gonna let you make.
Get a nat 20.
Please roll a nat 20.
That way everybody knows.
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check into these two.
Oh, so natural 19. So okay.
Close enough.
Oh, hey, aren't they? Oh.
Welcome to the party.
I love
Just
this so
people.
much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So at some point, I'm gonna have to apparently do a Maury Povich on here as well, to prove you two are related. And at that point,
Do you mind if I roll to see if Mara would kind of assume that Golden Boy with sword and shield is Terrence?
yeah, go ahead and make a religion check, because if you mess this up and you have this conversation with Raja, it's gonna be fantastic.
Please roll a 1 so you have it for Raja.
How's a 15?
Okay, with the 15, you're fairly certain that Terrence is the one that you've been told about.
So at some point during this whole month-long thing, I would go up to Terrence and I would ask him if I could talk to him.
Terrence, of course, would be like, sure. What you want to talk about?
So while I was out, like asleep, whatever was going on,
hmm
I had this dream and there was this really, really big cathedral thing. And at the end of the cathedral, there was this like big, it looked kind of human, but I couldn't really see its face. And he said, to seek and I will find. And then the second time it happened, he told me to talk to my golden friend, which wasn't super helpful, but I kind of assumed it was you for whatever reason. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out if you're the one that he talked to, because apparently he talked to one of you two. And I'm supposed to talk to whoever he talked to, if that makes sense.
So, what should I roll as to whether or not I've got the answer right now, or if I have to pray about this and get it little by little?
Make a religion check
You know, paladin who
with
has
advantage.
okay. Yeah, that first one was an 8.
Mm,
So that means roll twice, right?
That does.
Oh, good. Okay, 16.
Okay.
my goodness.
So I'm assuming that means that I'm kind of following the same path she is there.
Yeah. At this
Okay.
point, you've got it seems that you've got a fairly decent grasp on this one. So congratulations.
Okay.
Thank
Awesome.
goodness. There's
Finally.
one thing we're good at.
Yeah.
There you
Right. Yeah. So, Terrence, the figure that she is describing to you sounds vaguely familiar because it sounds a lot like the same entity that visited you in your dream on the island.
Okay. With which I would actually know who that was.
Correct.
Okay. So, so Mara, just sitting here listening to your description of it and what was said to you. So I had a dream as well on the island right before we left, and that same entity spoke to me. That would be the Holy Spirit. That would be the Spirit of God, of Jehovah.
Wait,
And yeah,
what?
yeah. Apparently, he is talking to you. He has something for you.
Why?
Well, he has something for everyone. Everybody's special, but sometimes he chooses one over the others because he has something specific for them. It's a blessing. It's the cathedral looking thing is probably his temple, not just any temple that you would see out there, but it would be him and his temple. Given that, I probably would have to really pray about the rest of it, but I think that he's calling you to him, calling you to him to give you peace, to give you his strength and his peace. With everything that you've been through, he's going to be the only peace you're going to find. Nothing else is going to satisfy that yearning to have peace. And now that you've cleaned out the bad, he wants to come in and fill in so that nothing else can come in and take over on you, so that nothing can make it worse. Because if you clean out and you don't fill it in with something, the scriptures that I have say that what comes back will be 7 times worse. So my suggestion would be to start talking to him. I I can share with you what that looks like and what that means, and I can share with you what he's calling you to first and foremost. But it might take you time to contemplate this whole idea. It might take you a little bit of time to really get it. I don't want to
Yeah, I
rush it all
don't.
on you.
I really just don't understand why me, of all people.
Why not?
Well, I mean, first of all, like the people at your Jehovah church, like they're not good people. They I don't get it. But also like I'm a terrible person, so I'm sitting here and I'm like, sounds like this God wants like people like you, and
Oh,
I'm not like you.
oh,
I'm not a good person.
Mara, you're more like me than you know. Actually, I'm more like you than you know. God didn't choose me because I was perfect, and He's never chosen anyone because they're perfect. And anyone that you've met who claims to know Jehovah and who acts perfect is a liar. That's just
I-
not the truth.
Should I roll to see if I believe him, or
Sure.
what would that be? An
Can
insight?
I do a
Make
persuasion?
make an insight, and Terrence make a persuasion.
I got a nat 20 plus 6.
Holy crap! I got
You want to talk about God wanting this to happen?
I got a 19.
So, well, I mean, that's how the role played. So I'll let you guys. I'm not even going to describe it. I'm gonna let you guys handle it.
So just to,
So I think we need to. I want to hear more about why you think that we're similar, because it's not like I don't believe you. You've never lied to me before, but none of
so
this makes sense to me.
so let me just explain. So all of us are created the same. We're all sinners. We're all imperfect. None of us are perfect. And with that, that means that none of us are inherently good. We're bad from birth. We just don't have that in us. We're not. We were created with evil in our hearts. It's just the way the world is.
Why? Okay, so first question: Why would he create us with evil in our hearts?
And he didn't create us that way. So he originally created us perfect. He originally created us with no evil, and then evil came in the form of Lucifer or Satan, who is the devil or demon, and he deceived the. So God created Adam and Eve, originally, and Adam and Eve lived perfectly with him. And he told them they could do whatever they wanted, just don't eat of this one tree in the garden that he put them in. They had a perfect life, perfect climate. They didn't want for anything. They didn't need clothes. They didn't need meat. They didn't need anything. They lived perfectly, and God would come down and walk with them. And then one day the serpent, Satan, he came and convinced Eve that that tree, if she ate of it, she would get knowledge of good and evil. And Adam, who was supposed to be the leader, who was supposed to lead her in love and help her to make right decisions with him, and be the partner with him, failed.
Okay,
And
time out. Mara would say time out.
okay,
So if God wanted to like be with us and like started us perfect, then why was Satan a thing in the first place? If he's almighty, then why wouldn't he just get rid of him?
well, it's kind of like this. If you created something and you forced it to love you, does it really love you? So if
Is that Mara something Mara would be smart enough to know? DM or understand?
Mm, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I mean, I guess not. Can't really force somebody
No,
to love you.
we can create things to have affection towards us, but that's not real affection. Real affection is somebody who chooses it, correct? So if he creates perfect beings to love him, then they don't get the choice. So he allowed for Satan to, who was an archangel originally, who was like the leader of his music in heaven, to get prideful and feel like he could become God. And when he revolted, he cast him out of heaven with a third of his angels. And that's
So
where
Satan was like one of God's like right hand people for a hot
yes.
second.
Oh yeah.
Weird.
Yes. But he wanted
Okay.
more. And God allowed that. Why? I can't tell you why. But the way it played out was because of that, he allowed Adam and Eve to fall from perfection. And in that, allowed sin to enter into the world, allowed death to enter into the world.
But
Through
why?
that, he created a situation where they got to choose whether they would follow him or not. So everybody has that choice. Everybody has a choice of whether they want to follow him or want to serve him and want to love him or not. He does not force it. However, he, in his ultimate wisdom, made a plan from the very beginning, probably before all this happened. He knew it was going to happen. He had planned for it.
So since Adam and Eve were technically perfect, does that mean that they like didn't have a choice but to love him until after Satan? Or like I just
That's the way it seems. The way the story works is that's the way it seemed. They didn't have the choice to love him because they were created to. But when they fell, they actually feared him enough to cover themselves. They finally saw that they were naked. They finally saw that they had sinned, and they covered themselves and hid from him and feared him. And he came to them lovingly and called them back out. He did the first sacrifice, killed an animal, covered them in skin, and gave them that offering of whether they would choose to follow him or not. Now, because they were full of sin at this point, they couldn't stay in the garden. They had to go from the garden. So then they were sent out to the world to basically create everyone. And in that, everyone started to get the choice
so
of
we're
whether or not.
technically all related?
Yes.
Weird.
I mean, it would be
Huh.
far off related, but yes, we're all related. We all come from one. Now, through this process, thousands of years later, God sent His Son to redeem us or bring us back to His fold, and actually gave the atonement for sin through His Son. He sent His Son Yeshua, who was born and lived a perfect life, even though he was 100% human and 100% God. And don't ask me to explain that because I can't. I don't think anybody can. It's just, this is part of what we know, is that he was both in the same person. But through his life at the end, he was crucified on a cross, even though he had no sin and did nothing wrong. And God placed all of the world's sin on top of him. And through that, our sins have been forgiven so that we can freely choose to follow him. And when we die, we go to heaven. This is why I follow him. And this is why I tell you we're more alike than you know, because I am not perfect. There is no part of me that's perfect, but I am forgiven.
I'm gonna pause this for a minute.
That was a whole lot at one shot, so.
Yeah, this is a lot of information to take in, that's for sure. That story is a lot more beautiful than everything I was seeing at that church. Like, in fact, it seemed like it was the exact opposite.
You will find that because of my mentor, the paladin who trained me, he trained me to see truth, to not believe what people told me to believe. The church has become fragmented. It's full of division. And just like in Yeshua's time, the leaders have begun to follow their own ways rather than his ways. And so Jehovah has been calling folks out and saying, "Follow me, not what is written by other men. Follow me. Follow what my word says." This is why I keep that book. This is why I read that book. And this is why I talk to people when we're out, because I want them to follow the real Jehovah.
How do
I
you
want
know
them.
he's the real one? There's a
It's
lot of
all
gods
by
out
faith.
there.
There's a lot of gods out there, but none of them have ever come down and and uh, and died for me. None of them. But better yet, any that would have died, none of them have ever risen again. So that's the part that makes this story even better. Is Yeshua died for us on the cross. 3 days later, he rose again so that he could prepare a place for us in the Father's house. He went up to build a place for us. Because when we accept him and accept what he did for us, we become his bride.
So you're saying that if I choose to follow your God, then like every thing, every feeling that I experienced in that dream, I would just that would be like that all the time.
Nope. I'm not going to say that because
Oh.
it won't. You're still going to have all your emotions. You're still going to have all your feelings. The difference is he's going to be right there with you to help you through it. And he's going to give you others.
No. I mean like in heaven.
When you get to heaven, yes, when you get to heaven, it will be perfect. You'll feel no more pain. You'll feel no more sorrow. You'll always be at peace. You'll always feel loved, and you'll always be in his presence.
All right, so at that point, I would say probably for the better part of the next, I'd say 3 to 4 hours, you guys go back and forth. Mara asking her questions, Terrence quickly able to respond to any question given. I would say at that point, you've probably bedded for the night. So at this point, Muriel and Mara are in the de facto kind of women's cabin, if you will, and we'll see how that plays out.
We have a sign on the door that says "Keep out, boys." With a Z.
Girls only.
Girls
Girls
only
only.
with the Z.
Yes.
Glitter and sparkles.
Yeah.
Devlin resents it, but he hasn't said anything. So after you come in, after talking with Terrence, I'm kind of dozing in my hammock, and as you walk in, I kind of sit up a little bit, and I say, "I've been meaning to talk to you. On the island when I offered to help you get into your kimono, I thought it was a difficult garment for you to get into, and I thought you needed my help. And frankly, I wanted a moment to have a private conversation with you, and it seemed an ideal time. So I apologize if that came out awkward, but I suppose that moment is now.
I mean, okay,
have-
I didn't see anything weird, but okay. What do you need to talk about?
Well, I'm grateful you didn't, but I am nonetheless conscious of it. I've waited a long time to finally get to tell you that I am sorry for having rendered you catatonic. In my hubris and in my arrogance and in my foolhardiness, I thought that I could somehow play God and undo the parts of you that were not mine to undo, even at your request. And I regret the harm that it caused you. And I hope that you can forgive me, if not now, then someday.
I don't think you need forgiven, and I don't think you need to be sorry. Because if what Terrence just like spent a whole bunch of time talking to me about is true, then it wasn't you in the first place that got rid of whatever was in my mind. But God would have worked through you, is what it sounds like. I'm still trying to process all of that, but like, you don't need to be sorry. Like, think, like, literally, I'm better than I have been in a very long time. So, and I have you to thank for that. So, thank you.
Let me back up a moment there. So you're telling me that Terrence's God decided to use me, one of the most spiritually corrupt individuals you'll ever find in the entire world, to reach into your brain, take out what I guess you could colloquially call sin, render you catatonic for several days, and then wake you up as if nothing was wrong.
I mean, yeah, according to Terrence, he uses not great people all the time. I mean, I don't think of myself as a good person, but like, he talked to me and he obvious like it seems like he very much used you as well. So I mean, I I don't quite understand it all, but I mean, based on what I've learned, yes, he probably did use you as well as me and Terrence to get this like triangle thing going to talk about him, I guess. I'm not very good at explaining it, so I hope I'm making sense of everything that I just learned in the last 4 hours.
You are making
But
sense. I just struggled to believe it.
same.
I mean, one look at me. All horns, no pupils. Some really twisted magic, and add the on top of it. I'm nobody's first pick for what you'd call spiritual clarification. I just struggled with the idea that a god like Jehovah would have anything to do with me. When in my entire life, all religious people have done is shun me for what I look like, deny me help when I needed it most.
Well,
Terrence, of course, being the exception to the rule, but he's the exception to a lot of rules.
I assume that we're in a bunk, so I'm gonna like peer down underneath and I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna be like, that sounds exactly like what happened to me.
No, wait, why do you
Um,
immediately assume that you get the top bunk?
because
It's canonically established. I've poked her in the back before.
yep. um
But I would have probably given it to her anyway.
Everything that you're saying sounds exactly like what I was talking to Terrence about. And so maybe like I'm I'm not very good at reading books, but I know you are. So maybe we can work through this together and figure out what we need to do.
Well, it didn't speak to me the way I was expecting it to. I went there looking for answers, and I don't know if it's my own eye or my own mind, my perspective, but there was something beyond the words that I couldn't grasp, and the more I read, the more frustrated I got, and eventually I just gave the book back to Terrence.
Maybe you need to talk to Terrence too. Something tells me that you need to give the book a second chance. I know I need to at least try. um,
Perhaps you're right.
I don't. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Just maybe not tonight because I my mind is just blown.
You've been through enough.
Yeah.
4 hours with Terrence is enough to drive anybody into the arms of a therapist.
You're not wrong.
That's pretty fair.
Don't tell him I said that. Good night, my dear.
Good night.
So, as you two kind of glimmer off into your own dreams, Muriel,
Yes.
as you finally fall asleep, kind of laying there for a while, trying to take in everything that you've heard, read. Now you have this feeling of contradicting information that you're getting. You read this book, it does everything from piss you off to make you question things, only to have Mara come in and basically, albeit not perfect, kind of basically reiterate what was said in the book. And as you doze off, you fall into a pretty deep sleep fairly quickly. And for this, I'm going to pull Muriel into the other room.
Shut up.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello there.
I
So,
did not this on top of all the spirit tonight.
I have to see if I actually have I think I've actually got a scene set up for this one, so bear with me for just a second.
That's fine. Is it showing them or is it showing us?
No, it's just showing us.
Okay.
You will have to. You will have to camera.
Sorry, but you're going to have to edit out some coughing. I've been trying to do it.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. There we go. Let me cut my camera back on. Seriously.
There you are.
For whatever reason, anytime I cut my camera on in Discord, it completely drops me. Always. Don't know why, but it does. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so as you drift off into sleep, and I want to make sure that I'm right before I do this. That way, mechanically, I don't break anything. You've never heard any type of patron or anything in your head.
Other than that moment at the door, behind which was Hermaeus, no.
Door was-
Remember, in the cult catacombs where we went behind, we were going down a hall and there was this door, and I could sense something because my tentacle was tingling,
Mhm.
and I reached out mentally and it spoke, and it said, "What I want is on the other side of that door." And it turns out it was Hermaeus, unconscious, on the other side of that door, and we could fight. It was before Better Duck died.
Yeah. I do remember that. Thank you for reminding me. I should do a. I have to do a better job of keeping notes on that.
It's not your backstory. It's fine.
All right, so so as you're drifting off, the voice that comes to you, and just an ever so soft whisper. You don't follow us. You belong to me.
Who are you?
Belong to me.
At this point, like my heart would be starting to thud and say, "I don't even know who you are."
So just before you were jolted awake, in the back of your mind, a voice goes from this whisper to just this purely evil voice, slowly fading, and it just says, "You belong to me." And at
It's
that,
safe to assume.
oh yeah, completely, yeah, you completely shoot up, and with that, we'll move back up.
You're muted, by the way, Raja.
We're saying this, but Raja is just a non-practicing believer.
No, I did not know that. No. Okay. But because Terrence doesn't see a lot, he'll still want to talk with you about it. I'm sure at some point. See how that plays out.
I don't think we have had any, like, I don't think you've told us at all about what Raja's, like, where Raja stands on that. So that's actually.
I think it was very early on when we
It
were
might have been.
briefly talking about it, but I do recall briefly.
Which might be why I don't remember, because it was briefly.
Exactly.
Do you want to DM? Should Mara roll to determine if she heard me?
Yeah, Mara, make a perception check. We're just gonna check and see if you heard anything in the middle of the night.
19.
All right. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You very much heard kind of one side of a conversation. Kind of repeated over and over again. You heard Muriel asking just a very simple question of "Who are you?" Followed very shortly afterwards with Muriel kind of flinging herself awake.
Okay. So am I awake or do I just like hear this like half asleep kind of thing? Like I need to be responding to this or
No, you're probably conscious enough to know that you've heard something, but I mean, you're probably still kind of half groggy at best.
okay.
I
Mm.
it's rare that my tentacle goes so crazy that I have to like wrap it around my fist to stop it from just tearing my scalp with how much it's flinging around. But I breathe myself stable and try to calm myself down. But that voice, that voice. And eventually I calm down enough to go back to sleep. But that voice is going to haunt me for a while.
So,
Mara definitely wants to like ask about that at some point, but
as we now kind of fast forward back to the present.
Can I actually do the couple
Oh,
things I
yes,
wanted?
yeah, I completely forgot. That's my bad. I forgot.
And I'll be really, really brief. I just wanted to do a couple quick things.
Yep.
I just wanted to make so one of the things would be just he wants to get to know Devlin more and just kind of like, I'm sure that they have lots of evenings like kind of all together at the dinner table or whatever, and Albus is playing or whatever, and I'm sure they had lots of long talks, just deepening their connection as a group. Um, uh, with one exception, is that when Terrence does try and reach out to Albus, Albus is pleasant, he's kind, and very, very engaging, but he's always guarded. There's this wall he always has up with Terrence. And then with all the talk going on about Jehovah, anytime that happens, he slips away and he works on creating using his last 100 gold pieces um, worth of herbs, creating a potion of greater healing, if possible, just off and on throughout that whole trip. And one like definitely lots of conversations, over fishing and stuff. And when I do want to identify the identify spell on Mara's kimono, and just tell her about that because I remember the last boat trip she had mentioned she didn't know what it was. So I told her I'd love to find out for her. Now that I have that, I would like to do the identify spell and tell her what her kimono is. And
All right, perfect. Yeah. So Mara. And it doesn't take you long. It's a quick cast. You find out relatively quickly that it is a kimono of the changing seasons. And as you really begin to inspect it, you find that it is kind of within itself. There are several strands woven in of different elements, which is why it has the ability to change color and grant resistance based off of what it is. Speaking of that, I think
would she even know it changes color? It's only ever been
that's
red.
yeah. No, that's completely fair. So Mara, go ahead and make a go ahead and roll a d4, and let's.
I'm really I always roll 2s with these things, and 2 is summer, so
Actually, we could have fun
4.
and just 4.
4.
Uh,
4, yay!
so
I'm telling you.
So for the first time, as Albus is explaining, and it's in that normal gorgeous red color that you see. Alice, right in front of you, you watch as the as the sun starts to rise and the first rays of the sun hit the kimono, that it begins to fade out of this red and it immediately becomes almost this white color. And then from that white, it grows into this really pretty, like almost sky blue color, but snowflakes begin to form on it, as well as a few kind of oriental trees just kind of popping up here and there. Um, yeah, so for the first time, you see the winter season, which gives Mora a resistance to water.
So Mara looks down and she does like a little twirl thing. She's just like, wow, did you do this? Because this is like really, really pretty, don't you think?
It is gorgeous. No, I don't think that was me. I think that was you.
What? But I don't have any magic. I don't.
I don't understand it either, but that is attached to you, and I'd not be surprised if it connected to you in some way.
Hmm.
I mean, it can't be coincidence that as long as I've known you, it's been fiery red. And then just recently, with all the changes you've been through, it's just now starting to change.
Mara's thinking back to the conversations and the experiences that she's had. That's very interesting. And that's all she says.
Um, that, and then one evening while we're around the dinner table, I've just finished our meal. Everybody's sitting back. I've been plucking on my violin a little bit, just plucking at it, just not even stringing it. By the way, guys, I guess we should sort of come up with a name. So, we've been together a while and we're just kind of us, but every other group that I've ever read about in all my stories and all that time I was alone, they all had these epic names. And we need one. We killed a dragon.
Yeah. Maybe we should be the dragon hunters.
Y'all killed the dragon.
You were with us in spirit.
Yeah.
About to say.
Don't you think dragon killers is kind of cliche?
It does seem that, but I do have a dragon slayer sword.
I do agree that we have lots of red on us now. You do have lots to do with fire. We can do something on those terms.
The Red Wyvern Warriors.
Yeah.
Nah, sounds evil.
Kind of like a biker gang.
Yeah. What's a bike?
Yeah.
Take psychic damage.
Just something to start thinking about. Oh, maybe we don't come up with it tonight, but something to think about. But I do like incorporating red or fire, into it.
The red mallards.
Mallard. You should know this. You're smart, right?
Mallards.
The red mallard.
Kind of harken back to Better Duck.
The better red mallards.
Yes.
I'll have to think on this one.
Yeah.
Me too.
You have a point there, Albus. The name's a very important thing. What's it called? I'll talk to you more about that later.
Yeah, I'm thinking like we're gonna gather allies to go fight Donovan. We want to stop this demigod from running this plane and destroying our homes. We want to. We need to have something to rally behind. Might seem egotistical, but I like the idea.
I don't think it's egotistical at all.
I think it's a great idea.
To have a name by which we may be referenced is efficient. It's not egotistical. And if it happens to inspire awe, fear, and respect in our enemies, and incite loyalty in potential allies, so be it.
See, now you're talking like a pirate lass.
I'm gonna laugh.
Take your hat off your head and I put it on my head.
Except it doesn't fit on your head, it sits on top of your horns.
Yes.
I think the name should
Give me
be
back.
I think that
And-
I think the name should be inspiring to those who aren't evil, but fearful to those who are.
I'm going to laugh and be like, who's going to be afraid of this? I'm going to put on the dread helm and kind of twirl around. And I'm making, and Albus is being completely satirical. But in reality, he's got this red scale armor that's got the teeth embroidered on it. He's got the dread helm on it with red eyes and a red scale cape behind him. And he's not as portly as he was. It's been another month or so. He eats about half as much as he did since Albus has died. And so he actually is a sleek, little, very, very intimidating little gnome in this thing. But he doesn't realize it. He thinks he's being incredibly satirical.
Yeah.
Honestly, in that outfit and with the amount of charisma you exude, if we're not careful, you'll be mistaken for our leader.
True. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
So-
I think it might be.
All of a sudden, Albus keeps getting pushed to the front.
Right?
Yes. It's always the little ones. It's a little bit mean. That's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No. I'm perfectly happy letting you and Terrence take the lead.
Oh, Jehovah, no, not me. But
We're all screwed.
yes.
Oh, we're planning on hunting not just one dragon, but possibly multiple dragons. I think that's a given.
I feel like Muriel and Terrence are kind of like the loud ones, but like Devlin's like the true leader at this point since he has the ship. Just saying.
He's the
The
leader on
driver,
the
for
water,
sure.
that's for sure.
Well, he's definitely like the older sibling with the car. So
Yes.
We'll let you be in charge because you're driving us
That's
around.
it. That's it.
Right.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So at this point, the ship now sits close enough that you begin to hear the breaking of waves upon the shore. You can hear in the distance as ship bells kind of ring off in the distance. You're close enough now that you watch as the steamworks and cranes and all of this work on the multi-dock port, with there being no less than, I'd probably say 15 to 20 docks as you kind of roll into the city. By far, this is the largest city that any of you have ever come upon at this point. As you stare forward, it just seems like it goes on forever. You can't look from your left to your right and see the entire thing. You have to keep turning. When you look up, the citadel of the main castle sits so high in the sky that it looks like that it's almost touching the clouds.
Wow.
The walls themselves seem like they stretch forever. And as Devlin takes you into port, looking off the nose of the ship, you catch sight of just a simple dock worker. He's holding up flags and he begins to kind of make some signals. Devlin, you would completely understand that he is telling you, here's your dock number, which is dock number 3. And he is basically guiding and flagging you in. So for the last time on the ship, at least for a bit, Devlin, I'm going to have you make a survival check to make sure that you don't run into the city.
While he does that, Terrence goes, "Hey, did he just swear at us?"
18.
18. All right.
Ooh.
No, the swearing is Devlin.
Yeah. So Devlin.
This is Authority Central.
So with
Yeah.
with the grace of a cat, Devlin glides in the ship without any problem. Gets close enough that he's able to command folks to toss over the mooring lines to the people working on the dock. The ship is quickly tied off. The gangplank is dropped onto the dock, and for the first time in any of your life, you step off onto the dock of a new continent.
Wow.
We made it, friend.
We've much work to do here.
As you begin to walk,
I smell.
you begin to walk forward the dock, up towards kind of the main offices, if you will. You're stopped. Kind of an older human gentleman. Devlin quickly would recognize that this gentleman is a port master. And he takes your papers, gives them a quick once over. Kind of looks at Devlin, kind of as he's holding them. So he's kind of doing this, kind of pokes his head around, looking, folds them back up, hands them back to Devlin. Well, son, it'll be 10 gold a day for you to moor your ship here. How long are you planning on staying?
Please pay for the day. I will probably be back later to secure further payment for an extended stay, but he will take 10 gold. No, he will take 12 gold, and he will hand it to the worker.
So
Just make sure she's in ship shop shape. Thank you.
So as he counts out, he realizes very quickly that these extra 2 gold pieces are there. You kind of watch as he, not so slyly, slides those 2 over and drops them off the table, and you hear them hit into a bag that sounds like it is just overfilled already. And he nods his head, he waves his hand, and you watch as a couple of dock workers with buckets, ropes, what would appear to be almost like repair gear, head towards the ship.
There's
It
an
tells me-
indentation on the second deck. Don't touch it. It holds memory.
I assume they appear trustworthy.
They do.
Devlin, his mind's going, I think I just passed the vibe check because I actually put a little more forward. It's either this is so corrupt that this is the norm if you don't tip. It's the equivalent of, yeah, we cannot guarantee anything bad's going to happen and something bad will happen. The extra gold is just like, no, we're on the up and up. You know that this is he's amongst his people. It scares him, but also comforts him that, okay.
Do you question it enough that you want to make an insight check, or you just want to roll with it?
You know, I will give an insight only because this is the first time he's been in a city this large. This feels familiar. Insight.
I would like
19.
to as well.
19. So just kind of with the way that went about, you realize fairly quickly that, yeah, had you not have tipped, you might have come back to there either A, not being a ship at the dock, or B, that ship would have been at the bottom of the harbor.
A dock on the up and up.
Yes.
Probably run by pirates. So everyone's on the down low.
Yeah.
No one's saying it's pirate run, but
We know it's pirate run.
That's right.
Devlin now knows it's most likely someone's fingers in this pie. He doesn't know who yet, but
Captain Jack.
With an 18 insight, I would have caught, I assume, whatever you told him similarly.
Yeah. Yeah, roughly about the same. Maybe not quite as in depth, just with him having so much experience with different ports. But it wouldn't exactly take a rocket scientist to figure out that. Yeah, there's probably some shady dealings that go on in this area.
As we walk out of the office, I'm going to lean into Devlin and say, I'm not sure we should be carrying this much money around.
Concur. So we're going to spend as much of it as fast as we can.
That's the option. I was thinking we could open an account. Or
An account?
a business investment.
That's about the equivalent of what I'm thinking too, but yeah. We need to burn a hole in these pockets lickety-splickety.
I like the way you think.
So while they're doing that, Terrence is just out there looking around with a smile from one ear to the other. Because
Bag of holding with about $1 trillion in it.
Because everybody's so nice.
Keep an eye on that one.
You
Actually, let's keep an eye on all of our pockets, because this is definitely the place that you don't pay attention and you're going to come away just a little bit lighter. Or a lot lighter.
We know the name of the city that we're in?
Where are we?
So you are in the capital city of Fasari. Much like Namar, the continent itself is actually named after the capital city of each.
Oh, it's Fasari.
Yeah.
I adhere myself to Terrence's side. And I'm going to nod to Devlin to adhere to Raja. And maybe, just maybe, between the two of us, we can not lose our shirts in this city.
Or get in trouble because we figured out somebody was trying to take our shirt.
Yes.
I'm gonna put my dread helm on and try and look like I know what I'm doing, and like.
I'm gonna seeing everybody else team up. I'm gonna team up with Albus in his tough helm.
I have a +8 intimidation, so I just start walking like I'm angry.
How's your intimidation higher than mine?
Yeah, I know.
I specialized.
I have a +7, but Devlin's going to move the left eye of Thymax that he has preserved on his hip. So there's just a dragon eye.
Just a petrified dragon eye the size of a softball.
Yep. He is pulling a power play move of he has dragon scale coated. Yes. He is pulling the card of don't mess with me.
Terrence smiling. Just being his normal big self.
Mara has a +6 in intimidation, so
Terrence has a +2.
She looks pretty, but like they're kind of creeped out by all the pink.
You and I
well, I guess she's blue now, so they're just creeped out by her in general.
Mara and Ariel give off the strong F around and find out vibes.
Yes.
Raja's mere size alone is enough to intimidate someone, but on top of that, he is in his full red scale plate mail, and he's got his custom helmet with his Hellboy horns that's protruding like 4 feet off his head. So if anything, I feel like he'd be rolling with advantage on intimidation.
Just realized something, and I'm gonna elbow Raja hard in the ribs and be like, you stole my look. Well, one of us has to change.
Ooh.
Can I
and it ain't gonna be me. It's a good look.
Mine are permanent, Raja. I can't change. That's the point.
I've got a sword.
You're not cutting my horns off. You know what, Dragon Ball? You're on your own. I hope you get there.
So Terrence is just going to be himself and, big old paladin walking down the street, kind of happy-go-lucky, not trying to intimidate anybody.
Yahweh, help me.
So in other words, if anyone's going to get pickpocketed out of the group, it's going to be Terrence.
Oh, 100%.
Or
Yeah.
we are the ones coming in as trying to be the next big dog on the block, and all the giant Cerberus hounds just looking at. Well, here's someone who thinks they're tough. Let's see how
Right.
tough they are.
We didn't let
Hey.
Terrence have all of the money, right?
No, it's split between him and Raj.
Oh no.
Oh
I
yes.
was going to say, everyone's got their own share, I believe.
Let's
Yeah, I
for
thought-
giggles say that we split it among us as our own shares. That way, if one of us gets pickpocketed,
I mean,
at least we have more elsewhere.
if you guys look in the chat, I did do a slight reminder of the divviness between the
That's
blue.
right. We already added it to our.
Yeah. I can only imagine Brandon's face right now just listening to us describe how
I know.
tough we're trying to portray ourselves.
Except Terrence, who's just being Terrence.
And then he's going to
Okay,
make us
there's-
roll something, and then we're all going to look like complete idiots.
I know.
I'm,
Here's the
I'm
thing.
pretty
There's-
sure at some point Terrence is going to be like, "Hi, my name's Terrence. What's your name?"
There's Golden Boy, like basically skipping down the street in front of you, and then there's me in a full black cloak, like hood down, tentacle kind of peeking out like a little sinuous snake, just intimidating +8, and that's what's following you, Terrence.
Behind that is just the in the middle of the group is just the overtowering monstrosity that is the dragonborn with the 4-foot horns and the red cloak.
Following that is the Mara.
I was gonna say at the very back is like but the two little people.
Right. You're skipping, but you have a warhammer that's as tall as you are, so it's like game on. And then there's the pirate with an actual frickin' dragon eye on his belt.
Yeah.
But he does look
So-
fashionable. He doesn't have to pretend to look terrifying. He's just
I'm just curious what all the
Dapper and
people,
dangerous.
as we're walking around, what all the people are doing. Is Terrence is looking at everybody smiling.
Like they're parting way for you, looking afraid. You're not sure why.
Yeah.
It's everyone
I don't get
behind you.
What is going on? Wow, they must really say something.
So, DM, how's the town reacting?
Yeah, right.
So far,
crush our hopes and dreams.
yes. No, I mean, so far as you guys are, as you're walking through, I mean, for the most part, you're being very well received. There's, as you pass by a few of what I would consider maybe like your old ladies of the village, they kind of give you that stink eye, like,
Watch their
this
girl.
this group is this group is up to no good. They probably cross the street when they see you coming. That kind of stuff. So as you as you're all able to kind of get into the city and really take a look. I was actually trying to find a picture that would give you a good idea of the city. This is about the best that I could come up with so quickly in terms of kind of the scale of what you would see kind of from the bottom,
Oh, wow.
working your way up. And I guess I should
That's a
transition that.
big,
So
big castle.
big castle.
I gotta say, Terrence has castle jealousy.
Right? I pat you on the forearm and say, "You can afford one just as big."
Yes. One day, I'll have it.
He can't.
Am I going to nickname you Lord Farquaad?
No, don't do that. Terrence
Right.
may change real quick.
It'd be funny.
It would, Dragon Boy.
So as you're
Hopefully, it shoots you a look.
as you guys
Start calling you
continue
Pete.
to kind of make your way down the street, kind of in your loosely formed group, you're making your way through crowds. As you pass through kind of this one particular group of probably young adult gentlemen, probably early 20s or so. They didn't roll very good, so you fairly quickly kind of spin around. Uh, this being um, this being Raja, you spin around fairly quickly, and noticing that as you kind of walked by this one, you felt a tug at your belt, where kind of where the bag of holding would be.
I'm gonna instinctively just grab him by the collar of his shirt and firmly state, "Think again."
Oh,
Intimate.
I'm sorry, sir. Well, we find ourselves in a bit of a predicament here, don't we?
We?
We're gonna have to roll initiative.
We do?
Well, this is the
We'll
first.
saunter up.
This is the first time anyone's ever caught me as I grabbed a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And thieves can't. Devlin will say, unless you and your entire compatriots wish to die on the street corner, let the bag go right now, because if you push this, it's not going to end pretty. However, I might look for you later because I need information. Let the bag go. I'll make it worth your while. If you stay, you will die. First. Because that Dragonborn will end you. Smiling the whole time, but he's saying this in Thieves' Cant. I don't know if anyone else in the party has Thieves' Cant.
I don't
No.
think they do.
Raja definitely does not. He's just glaring at the
So
the boy.
let's see if these people skills have paid off and make your persuasion with
advantage.
advantage.
Persuasion with advantage.
That is now going to be a
Double nat one, and we get to burn the city down.
19.
Yeah. So with that 19, yeah, he reciting back to you in his these camp as well. Ah, I see, brother. Yes, absolutely. So he like immediately like hands go up. He really can't go anywhere because Raja still has him up, but at this point, like he's in full surrender, and they weren't being super stealthy about it, but the folks that had began to kind of poke their heads and maybe even kind of looking over the corners of roofs have now dissipated.
couple seconds after he like puts his hands up, I will firmly release him.
So as
Firmly
he drops,
One warning.
Firmly grasp
Yeah.
it.
As he drops the 2 feet to get himself back to the ground, he gives Devlin the nod, and he bolts. He's out of sight within seconds at that point.
What'd you say to him, Devlin?
Devlin will pick up the bag and hand it to you. I'm just telling him it was a bad idea.
Check my pockets for everything.
Yeah.
Thanks, bag.
Sometimes it pays to
extra-
speak the language. They respect you if you speak their language.
Secures it firmly back on the belt.
And I would say at this point, after probably asking around to a few of the locals walking by, you find your way to the local inn. And as you open the doors to walk in, that's where we will end the night session.
All right.
Ooh.
Getting ready to walk in.
Super apologies for all the technical difficulties here and there. I would say that I'll do my best to edit them out, but let's face it, I probably won't. So it'll just be a fun video to watch.
There you go.
Have a great night. Again, we will be off next week. I know I've got family obligations to take care of, i.e., making a lightsaber at Disney. So the next time you see me, I'm just going to be sitting here like this the whole time,
I wouldn't blame you.
just back and forth.
I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we'll see you in a couple weeks. This is we'll pick up directly from here. The group has finally made it to the continent of Fasari, and I'm curious to see kind of which way the story shall go, and see you in a couple weeks. So until then, God bless, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Night.